Hello guys, it's me Simo Urahara, and in this video we'll talk about one of the fights that took place in the novel Can't Fear Your Own World between Zaraki Kinpachi with Yachiru and Hikone. And yeah, I mean it when I said Yachiru. You'll know that soon as we dive into the fight's events. Besides that, this fight gave us a glimpse of what Zaraki's strength has become, as well as Hikone's strength. So as I told you guys in the video of Kyorako vs Tokinada, that Zaraki was about to fight Tokinada, but Kyorako told him not to attack him until he spoke to him. And then Tokinada summoned Hikone, and this is how the first meeting between Hikone and Zaraki was made. But before we even delve into the details of this fight, we can talk about some of the similarities between this fight and that of Zaraki in Grimy. First, Grimy looks like a boy, although we don't know his true shape because he imagined himself as a boy. And that's exactly how Hikone looks. It is true that Hikone is a combination of multi-powers, but they took the shape of a boy. In fact, the interesting thing is that the mind of Grimy is found inside Hikone's body. For example, Lil Toto was able to sense the power of Grimy inside Hikone. Secondly, and this is the most important, Zaraki, when he fought Grimy, fought him and his power became liberated. Contrary to all his previous fights, his fight with Grimy was his first fight after all the seals on Zaraki's power were removed. And the fight of Zaraki in Hikone happened after 6 months of his first battle against Grimy. So everyone in the battlefield was aware of the fact that Zaraki is fighting with his full power, not like before. And the person who was the most aware of this issue is Hisage. Hisage never saw Hikone as an enemy. He saw him like a boy who still didn't know much about this world. So Hisage told Hikone not to fight Zaraki because the fight would end with Hikone's death. Especially since Zaraki doesn't care that Hikone looks like a boy. If you are a strong opponent worth fighting for, Zaraki will fight you and may end up killing you. However, Hikone did not take Hisage's advice and decided to fight Zaraki, especially after Zaraki saw that Hikone was the strongest person on the battlefield, so he turned directly to him. What we have to take into consideration is that Hikone had the power of Holos, Quincy, and Shinigami and Fullbring power just like Ichigo. The difference between him and Ichigo is that Hikone was able to use all that power at the same time. And this is what is terrifying about Hikone, meaning he can use Sonido, then change it to Shimpo or Herinkyaku, or use them together, or he can use the Blood Vein and Hero at the same time. He could shot Zero with Quincy arrows, so Hikone had an extraordinary ability to manipulate all these powers. In the opposite side, Zaraki stood in front of Hikone while he was still wearing the eye patch that suppressed his Ryatsu and without releasing his Shikai no Zarashi, in the sense that he started the battle in the usual manner in every battle, whether before or after revealing his powers. At first, Hikone tried to attack Zaraki by launching a Zero attack. That attack was powerful, but Zaraki blocked it with one wave of his sword without even having to wake up the Shikai. And as I said, that attack wasn't weak. In fact, parts of that Zero were scattered everywhere and reached both Candice and Lil Tito. Candice was surprised by Zaraki's strength, while Lil Tito commented and said, "This is not strange. This person in front of us is the one who beated Grimy." And by the way, in this video I have explained Lil Tito's relationship with Grimy and how she learned his true power. And after that, Hikone will launch several Zero strikes combined with arrows. Zaraki avoids most of them, except for one that hit him directly, but it didn't cause him much damage, so that Zaraki will tell Hikone, "Is that all you have?" Zaraki turns towards Hikone and tries to catch him with his sword, and Hikone didn't try to avoid the attack, but wanted to block it by using the Hero and the Blood Vein. And as I told you a while ago, Hikone is able to use several powers at the same time. What Hikone tried to do reminded me of what Masaki did against White. Masaki received White's attack and bit her in her shoulder, but she reduced the damage of that attack by using Blood Vein. The same thing what Hikone was trying to do. However, what Hikone didn't expect is that Zaraki's sword will penetrate the Blood Vein as well as the Hero, and his sword will injure Hikone, which will make Hikone take a few steps back. The blood splattered from Hikone's shoulder, but the latter using the Blood Vein stopped the bleeding, which made Zaraki remember what happened in his battle against Ichigo. when the Osan used the blood vein to stop Ichigo's bloodshed. Zaraki told Hikone, "This is like what happened to Ichigo. Are you close to him?" Hikone replied that Ichigo is supposed to be like him because he contains the power of the Quincy as well the Hollow, Shinigami and Fullbring, and therefore there is no doubt that the Quincy blood it was helped him to do that. Then Hikone will try to attack both Yumichika and Madarame Ikako, who were watching the fight because they were trying to help Hisagi. Hikone would have been around the corner from ripping out their hearts had Zaraki intervened and prevented Hikone from doing so. At that time, Hikone decided that he must kill Zaraki first. So this time he used all his powers, whether Quincy, Shinigami, Fullbring or Hollow, so that he enhanced his speed as well as the power of his attacks and attacked Zaraki with something like Taijutsu's attack, so to speak. And so Hikone's attack was so strong and without stop, which caused Zaraki many injuries on his body. It is true these injuries weren't fatal, but Hikone was able to cause Zaraki's steel body some damage, which something not usual. So that Hikone said that he finally got to use the hardness of Zaraki's body, while Zaraki returned same words to him. And as Hikone was still striking, Zaraki's eye patch finally fell off, making Zaraki's Ryatsu suddenly appear in this way. Kubo made this scene through the sketch, so that we notice this terrifying Ryatsu coming out of Zaraki's body without seals. Unfortunately, what will happen next is that the novel's events will not focus on Zaraki and Hikone's fight after that moment, because the novel will move to a flashback to show us Ikamokodomoy and how it was placed inside Zanpakuto and who it is originally. After that, a big fight will take place between Chokinada, Ikamokodomoy and the rest, while the novel in a few lines indicated through some characters that the fight between Zaraki and Hikone was still going on. So it seems that Zaraki and Hikone's fight was really long, meaning it's one of the fights that Zaraki really enjoyed. Even Hikone also enjoyed the battle and said that he experienced this feeling for the first time. But then something important will happen, and it has to do with Yachiru. When Zaraki was fighting Hikone and they entered into a new phase of the fight, where the fight would become life and death battle, Hisagi intervened and tried to convince Zaraki of the need not to fight Hikone. Zaraki at first was upset with Hisagi's intervention because it looks like Hisagi was trying to take his prey. But in a conversation between Hisagi and Zaraki, something strange will happen. Zaraki started muttering those words. Hisagi didn't hear what Zaraki was saying, but through these words and his mention of Yachiru's name, he was talking to Yachiru, so that the latter seemed to be telling him that he should listen to Hisagi and stop fighting. And this is what Zaraki did. He decided not to fight Hikone and let Hisagi finish the battle. Thus, it appears that Yachiru is not only Zaraki's Bankai, but she is still playing the same role she used to do before Zaraki knew her true identity. The difference is that she is no longer visible to everyone, because she is no longer a Shinigami. So it can be said that she was with him when he was fighting Hikone, but no one could see her. So the battle of Zaraki and Hikone have stopped at that moment, and Hikone entered into another fight with Hisagi. Zaraki will intervene later to stop Ikamokodomoy when he observed parts of Ryu. Zaraki used his Shikai so that with one swing with Nozarashi, he was able to make Ikamokodomoy return to his previous state. So guys, in a nutshell, that was the fight of Hikone and Zaraki. What do you think? Give me your comments and see you guys in my next video.